Witches were renowned throughout the known world for their monster-fighting prowess and legendary exploits, but did you know that there were actually many different Witcher schools, each producing its own breed of Witcher with distinct skills, values, and fates? The School of the Griffin, however, might just be our favourite. The origins of the Griffin Witcher School trace back to a time when all witches were united under one banner. They were intended to be chivalric, powerful knights wielding magic, protectors of the kingdoms of the north, purging their lands of the monstrous threats that plagued them. But as noble as this vision was, the harsh reality of the world seeped in. The grueling training, the horrific augmentation process, and the rather less than selective recruitment process led to an order that was more of a band of rough, violent killers than the knights they were meant to be. These men lacked not only the knightly values of honour and duty, but also the grand magical prowess that was supposed to set them apart. Yet the Witcher Order endured. The mages who had created them continued their experiments, refining their methods and gathering experts from all corners of the world to train the young witches. Among these experts was Taliesin Bledin Urath ap Llywelyn, a knight who earned the nickname the Griffin after the black griffin emblazoned on his shield. Taliesin was brought in to teach swordsmanship, but his lessons extended far beyond the art of the blade. To those witches who would listen, he imparted the values of honour, duty, and the responsibility that came with their new skills, to protect the innocent. Now fully trained, the witches began to take contracts from nobles and peasants alike, offering their services across the kingdoms. Each year they would reunite at Morgrake Castle, ready to share tales of their exploits and wait out the long bitter winter. But as time passed, the order began to splinter. Greed crept into the hearts of some witches who began to threaten and deceive their brothers, all in an attempt to gain more contracts. The cracks in the order deepened until it could no longer be held together, and groups of witches began to fragment off, forming their own schools, each with its own unique identity and code. One such breakaway was led by Erland of Larvik, from the Isle of Skellige. With 13 of his fellow witches, he amicably parted ways with what remained of the Order, seeking to forge a new path. They named themselves the School of the Griffin, in honour of the knight whose lessons had resonated so deeply with them. Unlike the other splinter groups, the School of the Griffin held fast to the chivalric values that were meant to be the foundation of the entire Witcher Order. Honour, duty, and the protection of the innocent were not just words. They were the very core of the Griffin Witch's existence. After parting ways with the crumbling Witcher Order, Erland of Larvik and his companions journeyed to the mountainous lands of Kovir and Pervis. In search of a new home, they had heard rumours of an ancient keep, Caer Seren, nestled at the edges of the Dragon Mountains overlooking the vast expanse of the Great Sea. This was a fortress of formidable design with high, easily defendable walls that seemed to reach for the heavens, and it was regularly supplied by seafaring traders passing through the region, making it the perfect home for the fledgling order. But Caer Seren was more than just a stronghold. Built at a confluence of powerful elemental energies, the mighty stone fortress thrummed with the raw power of air magic. Yet it was also haunted. The spectres of witches who had perished in early experiments at Caer Seren still lingered within its walls. For Erland and the newly formed School of the Griffin, however, this only made their new home more fitting, a place where the past, with all its triumphs and tragedies, could guide them in their pursuit of a better future. In Caer Seren, Erland and the Griffin School's top sorcerers set out to create a new breed of witcher, unlike their predecessors who often lacked purpose beyond their next contract. The students of the Griffin School were taught that their role was more than just slaying monsters. They were defenders of the people, bound by a sense of duty, not only to the lands that they protected, but also to each other. Brotherhood and loyalty became the cornerstones of their training, along with a deep focus on magic. Griffin witches were expected to be prepared for any challenge, whether it be a terrifying beast or a cunning adversary. A defining part of the school's identity was their unending quest for knowledge. This pursuit led to the creation of a great library within Caer Seren, a repository of ancient magical tomes, and an unparalleled collection of monster lore. This library quickly became the envy of mages and scholars throughout the known world. Combat training at Caer Seren was rigorous, with a particular emphasis on the skilled and deliberate use of magic in battle. In physical combat, Griffin witches were trained to face multiple opponents simultaneously, whether it be a horde of drowners or a band of marauders. But the path to becoming a fully fledged witcher was fraught with challenges. After enduring the brutal trials of the grasses, which broke down and rebuilt their bodies, initiates faced one final test. And it was a rather unique tradition within the Griffin School. You see, the initiates were offered a choice, a test of bravery and skill, where they had to locate and retrieve a griffin's egg from its nest, or a test of knowledge, which required them to memorize and flawlessly recite the entirety of the Liber Tenebrarum, an extensive book of monster knowledge. However, the training did not end there. Unlike other Witcher schools, the Griffins also placed great importance on courtly etiquette. A Griffin Witcher was as comfortable hunting fiends in the wilderness as they were attending a royal banquet, engaging in conversations with the most influential nobles in the land. And despite their firm stance on neutrality in conflicts between rival kingdoms, the Grand Masters of the Griffin School were often invited to the courts of rulers to offer counsel on matters of monsters and magic. Wondering whether this might be the Witcher School for you? Well, if you're the type of person who values wisdom as much as strength, who believes that true power comes from balance and understanding, rather than just brute force, then you might just have what it takes to be an ideal Griffin Witcher, someone who is as comfortable in the quiet stillness of a library as they are in the heat of battle, who possesses a keen intellect always seeking to understand the mysteries of the world around you, and you use that knowledge to help others. As a Griffin School Witcher, your combat style would be graceful and precise, blending fluid swordplay with strategic bursts of powerful magic. You're not just a warrior, you're a scholar, a tactician, and a mediator. You fight with honor, always upholding a code of ethics that guides your every decision. You seek to resolve conflicts with wisdom first, but when the time comes to draw your blade, you do so with precision and purpose. The way of life at the Griffin School was epitomized by the values and camaraderie of its witches, a brotherhood bound not just by shared trials, but by a deep scholarly pursuit of knowledge and a commitment to honor. Among these noble warriors were figures like Cohen, who became a wise friend and ally to Geralt of Rivia, and old Keldar, the school's strict and knowledgeable monster tutor. Keldar was a formidable presence known for his strictness with his students. He had little patience for those eager young witchers who would rather chase after vampires than spend time studying the intricate lore of the beast that they were destined to hunt. Then there was George of Kagan, a courageous witcher whose deeds became legendary. George managed to slay a green dragon, a feat few others could claim, yet his nobility and bravery were met with betrayal. Injured from the battle with the dragon, George was tricked by a treacherous peasant, who, driven by greed, allowed the witcher to die, intending to steal his gear. This act of treachery was a stark reminder that the world outside their order might not always have been worth their protection. The Griffin School's dedication to study and the preservation of knowledge, which had endeared them to kings and other Witcher schools, ironically became their downfall. The school's great library, a treasure trove of ancient tomes and arcane lore, attracted the envy of powerful mages, who coveted what the Griffin witches had painstakingly gathered. These mages, knowing that they could not defeat the noble witches in direct combat, resorted to cowardice. They triggered a devastating avalanche from the surrounding mountains, those very mountains that had long served as the school's greatest defense. The rockfall was catastrophic, crushing the school and its fortress beyond repair, and burying many of the Griffin witches under the rubble. Yet some did survive the disaster for a time. Cohen, for example, went on to reside at Kaer Morhen with the witches of the School of the Wolf. There he played a pivotal role in training the young Ciri, only to meet a tragic end at the Battle of Brenna, where he was stabbed in the back by a pitchfork. As of now, the only confirmed surviving Griffin School witcher is the elderly Keldar. Old and weary, he stands watch over the ruins of Caer Seren, the once great fortress that was both his home and the heart of the Griffin School. Now alone, having outlived his pupils, he remains the only living testament to the legacy of the Griffins. Does the Griffin School sound like the right school for you? Which order of witches should we discuss next? Make sure to let us know down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to join us again soon. Until then, catch you next time.